Hello everybody and welcome to the 10 expectations for WWE in 2018 video. This is now my third year doing this type of video. I'm now doing this annually, and last year's list consists of
I'm right in front of my front step, thinking of a plan, looking like Raggedy Ann or going hand, kicking a can, thinking of a prank to pull some bacon, because some dead is
more screen time for Lesnar showcased women on Raw and Smackdown. So, number 9, we got Asuka being called up. Nakamura versus Styles at WrestleMania. Dolph Ziggler getting the WWE title. Sami Zayn getting called up to the main event status. Tyler Breeze getting called up to the mid-card status. Bray Wyatt getting to the main event status. Carlito returning to the WWE. The Undertaker retires and Hall of Fame. Big dream match.
I'm right in front of my front step, thinking of a plan, looking like Raggedy Ann or going hand, kicking a can, thinking of a prank to pull some bacon, because some dead is thinking, so's on my
Alright, so now you saw the montage of what I had in mind, and now this year's consisted list will be more realistic expectations. I can say for sure that some of what I said last year didn't really pan out the way I wanted it to, but you know, some did really do good. Sami Zayn getting more screen time, for example, was definitely one that works, and then there was Carlito returning to Royal Rumble, which didn't happen, so what can you do? But yeah, we're just gonna keep going. So first off, number 10. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn having a WrestleMania match. Now, these two have been going at it, and the story that they're telling is pretty well done, with Kevin Owens having the trust of Sami Zayn being the heel. The thing is, I see it happening the exact same way the Festival of Friendship went down, the same way Jericho and Owens storyline went down, with Kevin Owens betraying Sami Zayn, and this will lead to Sami Zayn wrestling Kevin Owens at WrestleMania. Just a straight up one-on-one match, because a lot of people, myself included, have said that Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens both have earned their very own singles match on WrestleMania, and I think if this is the last, this could be, you know, their blow off to this feud for, I mean, look, maybe a year or so. Just give them a year off away from each other, because I know people are exhausted of this feud already. They're exhausted of this feud. I, on the other hand, will say that they've kept away from each other pretty well, I would say. So it's not like they're there so consistently. It's not. I don't see it as a Randy Orton John Cena thing. And honestly, these two have great chemistry together. So look, I don't want to waste that having them face off a million times. I think I would agree with everybody in saying that it's best that they both go their separate ways after WrestleMania. Next, number 9. This is a better creative team for SmackDown. The problem with SmackDown is that they have constantly disappointed the fans, and I don't know what it is, but from what I know, the original NXT writer that took care of SmackDown in 2016 got removed and bumped for Road Dogg. That's what I know, and I think it's time either Road Dogg steps down and hires the creative guy, from NXT, or we see a combination of both, and we see them kind of collaborating and making the show even better. Because I think that's really the best thing you can do, in my opinion. So yeah, so a better creative team for SmackDown Live. I think it's time that they improve on the year that they've had. It's very much less than that. Alright, number 8. Lesser pay-per-views. So we have seen throughout 2017 and 2016, we've had 2 pay-per-views a month, and so much so to the point where they have had to cut costs to have more of these pay-per-views. And you know, it came to the point where every other week I was expecting a pay-per-view that wasn't happening. So it's just, I think less is more. These pay-per-views really are just time-consuming at this point. So, really, lesser pay-per-views for sure is going to happen. And with all the cutting of the costs, if you notice, their arenas are becoming more similar. Raw and SmackDown again, which is disappointing because I really like their original arena. They lost the pyros for everybody. Gotta say, that's what you get when you spend so much on a WrestleMania card. Hey, you could have done really well without the whole Pitbull, Flow Rider, and all them coming in, because, believe me, nobody paid to see them. Just saying. Alright, number 7. Elias as a breakout star. Elias coming into Raw, he got really over really quickly, and it's funny because I remember people hated Elias, or they didn't hate him. He was more of a guy that they loved to hate, right? They just loved to boo him. It was just a fun guy to boo. And then he comes out as El Vagabundo. Come to realize that became Elias's best turnaround, and somehow, you know, that got him over. That got him over on the main roster, and good for him. He was drifting away like in the crowd. You know what I mean? So I think Elias being a breakout star should definitely happen. And I think he should even be able to fight for the Universal Championship, or if they draft him over to SmackDown, have him fight for the WWE Championship, because I would like to see that. I would like to see Elias main event once or twice. I want to see what he's made of. So number 6. Face and heel position corrections. Okay, so we have a plethora of faces and heels, that are in the wrong position. And not necessarily all of them, but most of them. So Sami's a heel, Bobby Roode's a face, Sasha's a face, Braun Strowman's a face, or Chad Gable's a heel, Shelton Benjamin's a heel. You know what I mean? It's just, what is this? Okay, you have a lot of these guys that are so much better in the opposite positions. For example, Roman Reigns, there's so much money in a heel Roman Reigns. And I get that they won't do that. But then, by that course, you can turn Ambrose heel because there's so much money in a heel Dean Ambrose. Or there's a lot more money in a heel Sasha Banks, because it's time she turns. And maybe you have her pair off with Alexa Bliss, these unlikely enemies, just opposites attract, whatever the hell you gotta do. There's so many things. There's so many positions they need to correct. And Bobby Roode being a face, I don't understand why. It's time he turns heel. Natalya being a heel, I don't understand. It's time she turns face. Sami being a heel, it's time he turns face. There's just so many guys. There's so many guys on the roster that I think it's time to fix that. Fix that way above. Alrighty, number 5. Now, you guys may disagree with me on this one, and that's totally fine. I know not all of you support this, but SmackDown getting a 3rd hour. Now, the thing is, I think SmackDown needs a 3rd hour because you're seeing a lot of disappearing stars. You're seeing... Look, I've suggested the idea of having a rotation. So 1 week, Ty Dillinger would be feuding with... I don't know, Dolph Ziggler, right? And then you don't see him, and you don't see that next week, but you see that the week after, right? So 1 week on, 1 week off, you know, so that way there's a Team A and a Team B, sort of like how NXT does, or exactly how NXT does. But it doesn't seem like they're doing that, you know. And even if they do that, they're very inconsistent, you know, because like Ty Dillinger, he appears 1 week and then he just disappears for like 3 months until they have him another week. And it's always one or the other. If somebody's reappearing on TV, somebody else is disappearing. And it's madness. So I think it's best that SmackDown goes a 3rd hour so that all of these stars can appear more often, can have more screen time, you know? And SmackDown gives a lot more ring time than Raw does, so I think it's fair that SmackDown can go a 3rd hour. I'm personally all for it. So, with that being said, we got number 4. NXT coming to cable TV. Now, this one's more of a prediction than an expectation, because I don't really think NXT has to come to cable TV, but I think it will, because of the rating that it did that one time on USA, and it did about a 2.8, I remember, which is good. That's really good. So I think you could open more eyes to the product that is NXT. More people will become more familiarized with these stars. That way, when they get caught up, there is no, I don't see the hype in Asuka. I don't get this Nakamura. I don't, you know what I mean? That way, when the Street Profits get called up, people are getting the gimmick. They like him. Stuff like that. So NXT coming to cable TV is a definite prediction, and the more I talk about it, the more realistic it's becoming in my head. I think it's just, yeah, it's more and more likely to happen. All right, number 3. More continuity, or better continuity, for the brand split. So throughout the year, I've seen Kane come back on Raw when he was drafted to SmackDown. John Cena, for some unexplained reason, goes to both Raw and SmackDown. He's a free agent somehow. Jason Jordan him going over to Raw wasn't explained for like a month later. So, you know, there's all sorts of these things that just I don't like about the brand split, because they don't explain these things. And I think they need to better explain these things, like, why is Kane on Raw when he should have been on SmackDown, for example? Or why is it AJ Styles was fighting Finn Balor, and as much as I like the match, I don't really care, but in terms of continuity, that's where I do care. Why is it AJ Styles is fighting Finn Balor and not somebody, you know what I mean, for storyline purposes, of course. Because, really, Styles is probably the best choice for Finn Balor. But that's just an example. But yeah, there's so many unexplained reasonings for all these things happening in terms of the storyline, and I think it's better to treat the brand split like it matters, you know. And this should be the year that they start treating it much better, and more interaction of the brand split as well. I'm gonna add to that. I think they need to start having more open trades. You know, don't go crazy with it, but have like an open trade, like a quarterly, okay? If seen fit. You know what I mean? There's just so many options. So many options. And also more trash talking. I don't want to see the Smackdown commentary promoting the Raw pay-per-views, or the Raw commentary promoting the Smackdown pay-per-views. What sense does that make? They're supposed to be competing. Okay. With all that being said, we got number 2. And that is the departure of Brock Lesnar. We have seen Brock Lesnar. He's had the longest tenure. He's had a longer run than he did in 2012 and 2013. He came back in 2014 and pretty much he's been part-time in his way into the story, into the main storyline by hook or by crook somehow. And I think it's time to release him. And I don't think he's going to renew. He's made his money. What is there more to get with Brock Lesnar? You know, he doesn't benefit anyone. He does occasionally have a good match, but it's still very hit or miss. And there are plenty of guys who can have way better matches than Brock Lesnar. So I think Brock Lesnar leaving is a definite expectation of mine during the WrestleMania, and whoever he's gonna put over, be it Roman Reigns, be it Strowman, be it whoever the hell he puts over, let that be his last, at least for a little while, because I don't care to see Brock Lesnar. I don't. So next we got number 1, and as an honorable mention, actually, my honorable mention is Carlito returning to the Royal Rumble. Because it's still an expectation. It's still a prediction. I've said it since 2012, and I'm going to keep saying it. Carlito is going to return to the Royal Rumble. I don't even care if he wins it. I just want to see it. I don't know why. Don't ask me. I just want to see it. Alrighty. Number 1, though. For reals. More unlikely champions. So, WWE released, I believe, back on March, somewhere around March or April. They released a video saying 5 unlikely champions we could see in 2017. Now, the listed 5 were, I believe, Finn Balor, Cesaro, Sami Zayn, Samoa Joe, and I forgot the 5th. But, point being, none of those guys became Universal or WWE champions. And I think it's time we see more of that. We should see Sami Zayn face off for the WWE title and win the title. We should see Cesaro win the Universal title or the WWE title. Either or. I don't care about the Universal title, so it wouldn't do much impact on me. As cool of a moment as it would be to see, it wouldn't do me much. Or Samoa Joe wins the Universal title. You know, so more unlikely champions, more guys who you thought would have never won it. Let them win. Let them win. You know, I advocate for Xavier Woods to be a WWE champion and feud with Big E or something like that. So, yeah, with that being said, this is my top 10 expectations for WWE for 2018. Happy New Year's, everybody. And by the time you're watching this, it's probably the 2nd of January, but I recorded this on New Year's Day, so yeah, take care, everyone.